Joining us now, Congressman from the 5th District of Virginia, a regular on our show. Love to have him. Congressman Robert Hurt. Congressman, happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays, and all that good stuff. I'm going to Chatham tomorrow. Always great to be in your hometown, where streets are named after you.
Good morning, John. Thanks so much for having me on your program. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving there in Chatham, and hope that you did as well, and hope that all your listeners did. We certainly have a lot to be thankful for.
It is, and that's Chatham is such a beautiful little town through the holidays. I got to give it a shout out because it's actually, if you've never been there, it's just one of my favorite areas, and you guys just do it right. It's got that really small town feel, but it's just a wonderful area, and it's also the home of Hargrave Military Academy, one of our underwriting sponsors. Remember, go to hargrave.edu, hargrave.edu, just in case maybe you're a young man, you might want to be looking for a change. Go to hargrave.edu and attend their open house Saturday, 12:30 in beautiful downtown Chatham. That's Saturday, January the 8th. Check it out.
And what a great school it is, to be sure. As you know, our home backs up to the campus there, and it's an integral part of our town, and does a lot of good work for a lot of young men, for sure.
I want to get to what's going on right now in the Hill, and start with Jay Johnson's going to be making the rounds today, defending President Obama's executive action on amnesty about a week and a half ago now. What is the purpose of Johnson coming to Congress today, the Director of Homeland Security?
Well, I think that there must be some sense in the White House that people across this country are flabbergasted that he would take the action that he has taken. I think any third grader knows that our founders put into the Constitution the concept of separation of powers and checks and balances to protect individual liberty from an overreaching government and overreaching branches of government who could accumulate too much power. And he has just thrown that to the wind. He's thrown those checks and balances to the wind and said, hey, you know what? I don't like what Congress is doing, so I'm going to do it myself. And I think that people are outraged by it, and I think that they're probably trying to justify it in some way, shape, or form, and try to put some sort of lipstick on a pig. But there's no way to do it. I mean, this is what he's done is unbelievable, and I think that there are three things that we can do. The first and foremost is the most important, and that is the American people have to be heard. And while this president may not be up for election, again, as we saw on November 4th, certainly his policies are on the ballot from time to time, and I think that certainly in 2016 people need to remember we need a president who is respectful of the Constitution, respectful of Congress, the Article 1 branch, the voice of the people. The second thing I think we need to do is certainly use every means within our disposal to make sure that we restrict funding for these proposals. And then finally, I think it's extremely important that we do everything that we can to communicate with our constituents and have, and again allow them to be heard.
Congressman Hurt, when you say restrict the funding, there's obviously two schools of thought. There's one coming out of your caucus leadership, which seems to be favoring just pass an omnibus spending bill. That's the end of it. Go through September, get it off the table, get all these issues off the table, move on. Then there's what appears to be your faction, which is saying, the only opportunity you have to restrict the president is through controlling the dollars. How do you stand on that, and why?
Well, I think it's first of all important for if we want to play smart, not to say what we will and what we won't do. At the end of the day, right. I think that all options need to be on the table, and I think that, and I think that absolutely we need to take this opportunity, and we should expect that the American people should expect that the parties at this stage, and so remember, so December 11th, the budget expires. The spending resolution for the government expires expires, and we won't have anything if we don't act. So we have an opportunity to do a couple things. Number one, you know, there's a proposal to kick it to January so that it just get it into the new Congress where we would hopefully have more leverage. We also have another option, which would be to adopt an omnibus for the entire year. And I guess my view is this: we borrowed $17 trillion. We're borrowing 15 cents on every dollar we spend. This is really, really important. There are a few things that are more important than adopting a spending plan for the U.S. government. So the idea that we should just punt this down the road with no reforms, with no with no view toward restricting the activities that we have a lawful responsibility to fund or not fund, I just think is a non-starter. And so, you know, we're going to be working through that in the next couple of weeks. I think the American people expect for all the parties in the House and the Senate to sit down at the table and work in good faith to try to resolve the issues at hand. And hopefully we can come up with an agreement. That's what I think everybody would like to see. Mm-hmm. But again, we have a responsibility, and we've taken an oath to uphold it, and we need to do our jobs.
You seem, Congressman Hurt, to be pretty resolute that you believe that Congress has to do something in response to the president's
I think it would be a huge mistake. You know, listen, I understand that there are a lot of people who worry about the politics of this and that and what things look like and what things, you know, how the media portrays this and that. But I just think that it would be a huge mistake based on our responsibility, not taking the political considerations into account, but just a huge mistake for us to just pass on, again, the biggest responsibility that we have as members of Congress, and that is to approve a spending plan for the United States government. We have, our constituents have given us the responsibility. It's not a choice. Right. It's a responsibility to fashion a sensible plan for spending in this country, and it should include reforms, and it should have our approval for the policies that this president wants funded. And I just don't, you know, I don't know how it is that in this country we've gotten so far away from the idea that Congress should have a meaningful role in this. I mean, you remember what happened a year ago? Yes. The media and the U.S. Senate and the president rolled the House on the, you know, and seemed to win the day when it was not true that somehow that the Republicans had shut the government down. It couldn't have been farther from the truth. The president and Harry Reid were the ones in the beginning of September were saying, it's our way or the highway. I mean, that's what they said exactly. And they said, we don't care who you are. We don't care that you're Congress. We don't care the Constitution gives you this responsibility. You don't. If you don't do what we ask, then the government's going to be shut down. That's what they said, not us. Mm-hmm. We said we have a responsibility to be a part of this decision-making process, and they wouldn't even sit down with us. I mean, there are photographs of our conferees waiting at an empty table for them to show up. The Senate never showed up.
You're trucking the truth here on the air with Congressman Robert Hurt from the 5th District of Virginia. He's a Republican. That's the Chatham area, Southwest Virginia, one of my favorite towns of all time. He's got a street named after him, Hurt Street. You got to go to Hurt Street. I'm going to get a picture of that the next time when I'm there Wednesday, Hurt Street, and put that up. And this segment brought to you by American Jobs Alliance. Go to AmericanJobsAlliance.com, fighting for jobs in the USA. So, Congressman, how do you get just before we get into this foreign policy, how do you get a street named after you? I mean, that's pretty neat.
Well, it's not named after me, of course. But our family's been there for a long time, and so there were some Hurts that lived out there on that street.
Well, I think it's named
Billy Hurt lived out Hurt Street.
I think it's named after Congressman from the 5th District, Robert Hurt. That's what I think, and I'm sticking to it.
If anybody, it's named after my grandmother. My grandmother's still holding forth at almost 90. Should be 99 at the end of this month, and
really?
I think she certainly deserves to have a street named after her for sure.
She definitely deserves to have a street named after her. 99, no question. Congressman, got about 5 minutes. Quickly, President Obama sends another 1,500 advisors into Iraq. No declaration of war. What's going on?
Well, I just think that this president, he's six years into his presidency, and he's still grappling with the fact that the policies that he ridiculed and ran against, actually, against the previous that were carried out by the previous administration, that he's having to continue to eat crow on those things because, look at what happened with Guantanamo Bay. Nothing is as easy as he has thought it would be, and I think that this abrupt pullout and dismantling of the infrastructure in Iraq has had dire consequences, and now we're seeing it. And so instead of putting troops on the ground or boots on the ground, we have advisors on the ground, and all of it's just a fig leaf to cover, I think, his naivete in dealing with the most dangerous place on earth, and a place that has the most direct, is a direct threat. The instability there is a direct threat to our country and to our ally, and so I think that's he's realizing he has got to do something, and so we'll send some 1,500 advisors in. Anyway, I agree with his overall assessment. I've said this on your program before. I agree with his overall assessment that ISIL must be destroyed, period, end of story. Mm-hmm. But I do not think that we should be doing anything over there until he comes to Congress and gets an authorization for use of military force, as I believe the law requires. I will also say that after the election, after the results of the recent elections, he made a statement that he hoped that he would be able to work with Congress to come up with an authorization for use of military force. Why it is that we've been back now for a month at work and he still hasn't said anything is again puzzling to me. It strikes me that he needs to get that to us as soon as possible so we can begin working on it. The American people can understand, and the Congress can fully appreciate what the price is going to be expected to be paid in exchange for destroying ISIL.
Congressman Chuck Hagel out, got fired. I don't care what they say. That's what happened. Replacements. Anybody that sticks out in your mind that you would be okay with?
No, it'll be interesting to see who he chooses. I was never a fan of Hagel's to begin with, so I don't know that he could get a lot worse. But because it's a nomination, of course, that will take place in the process that will take place in the Senate,
right.
I would imagine that he would be looking to find somebody that is not going to be too controversial, and it's certainly my hope that we'll have somebody who's got some backbone, who understands that when they take an oath of office, that they take an oath of office to support the Constitution, not support the president, and that this person will recognize that what has taken place in the Middle East again, and is taking place in the Middle East is again a direct threat to this country, and we have a lot of brave men and women in uniform who are serving in our intelligence communities and our, obviously, the Department of Defense, and frankly our diplomatic corps, who are serving this country well, and they need to have the full support of their Secretary of Defense.
Well, they certainly deserve that, and they haven't had that. I predict that President Obama is going to nominate Rhode Island Senator Jack Reed. And, Congressman, as you know, I'm never wrong. So you can pretty much take that to the bank. We're out of time. We want to thank Congressman Robert Hurt from the 5th District of Virginia, Republican, for being with us at Southwest Virginia. We also want to wish the Congressman and his grandmother, 99, a happy holiday. And to all of his family. Now, to get more info and to sign up for the Roberts Roundup, I mean, you got to check this out. All you got to do is go hurt.house.gov. How easy is that? Congressman, thanks for being with us. Have a fabulous holiday, sir.
John, you too.